Alright, so if there are no more questions or sharings, I would like to proceed with the presentation on paradigm shift for librarians in the 21st century. This is born out of my observations, my experiences, and my readings about our current work and current situation in Miriam College High School, as well as in other school libraries I visited. Now, three questions I would like us all to think of answers in. The first is, why do we need paradigm shift in the school library? How do we perceive the school library in the 21st century? Paano na nga ba dapat? Sa palagay ko lang. And what does it take to transform our library for the 21st century school environment? Napansin ko kasi, seminars I would attend about librarianship, in particular about school librarianship, marami akong nakikita solutions, pero at times hindi siya nagiging sustainable. So I thought, baka kailangan ang ating input would be on the way we would think about school librarianship, so that later on, susunod na lang yung mga services that we would upgrade, or solutions to our problems that we encounter in school libraries, para we would be able to think of more sustainable solutions and developments. Alright, paradigm shift actually calls for a solution, kasi dapat may crisis. So basically, it's my personal crisis, professional crisis in my work in Miriam High School. So and then the solution I thought of must be a change in my worldview of things in the school library, so that I would be able to transform more sustainably our library structures, procedures, systems that we follow inside. First thing I would like us to look into is on the time of crisis. Bakit may crisis? This is, from my reflection, I would like to identify three major points of crisis in school library. Change in information format. Meron pa rin tayong books, of course. Pero in the 21st century, we don't anymore just deal with books, right? May mga iba't-iba ng formats, carriers ang information that we provide our learners. There are also changes in the information behaviors ng mga estudyante natin. Cut across grade school and high school. And then even among our teachers, there are pedagogical changes in their learning plans. By the way, I am still a teacher, but I was a teacher before actually I became a librarian. Let me just place this in context. Probably compared to you, bago lang akong librarian. Though I have been teaching since 1991. So much of my learnings and reflections are actually a mix of my experiences as a teacher and as a librarian. Okay. Changes in these major points in areas in our school library are actually creating crisis sa ating work. Pati tayo, hindi lang mga teachers natin. Have you encountered teachers? Have you heard your teachers in your school saying at the end of their lessons, in the faculty rooms, as a business, narinig na ba sila nagsasabi na parang wala naman natututunan ng mga estudyante ko? Narinig na ba sila nagsasabi na kulang na lang kung mumbling ako para makinig sila sa sinasabi ko? So, sa palagay ko, yung crisis nila sa classroom is also present in our crisis din tayo sa loob ng school library. Hindi tayo spared from their crisis they are experiencing. Okay, so let's look deeper into all those three major areas. Information formats new information formats are introduced. Meron na tayo tinatawag na invisible, pero hindi naman ito relatively new. invisible information, that you would, those information, results page ng Google, and we call that visible web. The invisible web, kailangan papasok ka pa sa mga specialized databases. You would not get that from Google search results. So, meron din tayo tinatawag na digitized, and those that are born digital. So, one is, the former is, transferred or converted into a digitized format. The other, born digital na. Marami nang ganun tayo. Iba't iba na hinahawakan natin sa loob ng ating libraries. Both entail computer aided delivery. Meron din tayong information that's multifaceted, multimedia, multi-convertible. Nakikita naman natin sa mga estudyante natin yun. O kaya sa atin tayo mismo, we're doing it. Nakikita ka sa YouTube ng music video, ito, popular sa mga teenagers. So may bagong kanta si Miley Cyrus. Kasi tutas ko, library tayo. Na-download nila yun sa YouTube, di ba? Yung video. Pag na-download na nila, kino-convert pa nila into MP3. Diba? Tapos pakikinggan na nila yun sa kanilang MP3 player. So, it's multi-information. It's multi-convertible sa atin. And our students are not just aware of it, they're doing it. They're converting information. So, elasticizing na kasi siya. We meet speakers talking about soft info and hard info. In school libraries, lalo na sa grade 6, yung terminal year ng grade school, tsaka sa 4th year or grade 10, ang tawag na nung iba sa atin, grade 10. May mga research na ginagawa sila. Sa Miriam, sa experience namin, sa high school ko, it's grade, my high school kasi is 9, 10, 11, 12. So, the whole 4 upper school, yung aming high school, grades 9, 10, 11, 12, they're all conducting research. Not just in science, IB, I think we're all familiar with that, investigatory project in science. They're also doing it in English and other subjects pa. And so, we would teach our kids the information they get from blogs, basta opinionated, it's soft info. When it is peer-reviewed journal articles, hard research ang tawag, hard information ang tawag naman doon sa ginagamit nila. Ayan. So information din, meron na rin talaga nung pinag-uusapan, soft and hard. Meron din tayo globally, information also is globally collaborated. Diba? Our students may be actually, kahit mga anak natin sa bahay, they may be interacting with learners from around the world or with experts from another country. I had this encounter with my eldest son, who's 14 years old. Ano siya, as any teenager is now, gamer, game siya, and online. One time, kasi I have access to his emails. I know you would understand, di ba? Na-access ko emails ng mga anak ko. So one time, I look into his email, may kausap siya. Tinanong ko, sino itong kausap mo? Parang seryoso about the game. Tsaka iba yung terms. Sabi niya, tatay, ang game designer nung game na nilalaro niya. Mahilig siya sa simulation, mga sim, type of games. So, you would and that thing we would not just meet in our readings, pero if you would ask, we would see it in our children. They're interacting not just with fellow learners, fellow students in the internet. They're also interacting with experts. And I think meron din tayo. In particular, I'm following sa internet mga vlogs ng mga experts in school librarianship, Alright, so aside from information, information being elasticized, iba-iba na siya, we also must be aware of the occurrence of what they call, experts call, half-life of knowledge. Ito naman yung event na information, when it is, yung validity of information is shortening. Hindi tulad ng panahon natin, panahon ng mga kaedad ko. Pumasok akong grade 1, 9 planets. Diba? Graduate ako ng high school, 9 planets. Natapos ako ng college, 9 planets. Pero yung mga estudyante natin ngayon, high school, pumasok yan ng grade 1, 9 planets. Gagraduate yan ng high school, 8 planets. Diba? Pluto is not anymore considered a planet. Doon, states of matter, tatlo lang. From grade school to high school, tatlo lang states of matter natin noon. Pero ngayon, hindi na. Yung mga estudyante natin ngayon sa high school, pumasok yun ng grade 1, probably 3 states of matter. Natapos siya ng grade 6, 4 states of matter. Pero ngayon, they're not just talking of 4, 5 or 6 na. Di ba? 6 states of matter. So, this is what the experts are calling the half-life of knowledge. And it is, creating crisis even among the students. Parang kababasa ko lang ito no first year ko, ilan lang to ngayon. Because of the internet, new discoveries, inventions are easily disseminated globally. Kaya nagkakaroon na tayo ng ganyan. And it's calling for updating. We also have our kids. Puntahan natin yung mga estudyante natin. Our kids are showing more and more degrees of tech intuitiveness. 2 years ago, regalo ko, last year pala, regalo ko dun sa grade 6 kung graduate, yung pangalan ko, humingi siya ng Xbox. So pinag-ipunan ko yun, ang mahal-mahal po kasi ng Xbox. Hindi ko rin alam na ganun pala siya kamahal. Kung buo lang ako, nag-commit ako, basta mag-graduate ka ng anak. Nung chinek ko sa online, mahal pala siya. Pero pinag-ipunan ko na rin. Ayan. So, nung last na feeling namin, pag-uwi namin sa bahay, tinulungan ko siya buksan yung box. Kinuha ko agad, as usually ganun tayo. Kinuha, manual, di ba? Pinabasa ko yung manual na ganyan sa kwarto kasi sa pagod ko rin, nakahika pinabasa. May nakakarinig na ako ng tumutulog-tulog. Paglabas ko, nakabit na niya lahat. Naglalaro na siya. Tatay, magkagirap naman ito eh. So, alam na niya ang mga gagawin ng setup ng Xbox. They are really intuitive. And I think you also have your own observations at home, right? Ang bibilis nila na mapag-aralan ang mga sistema. Bukod doon, they're also showing reading behaviors na nakakaiba sa ating eskwelahan. Probably, just like me, you were trained to read using the Z pattern. Diba gano'n? Z. From left to right. Then baba, left to right. Pero ngayon sila hindi. Dahil exposed sila sa computer screen-based text. When they read using the F pattern. They scan. They scan the page and then they pause when they see the word that's related to what they're learning about, and then they read a few lines. And then they drop reading, they scan back down. And then when they pause again, they read a few lines. Then scan down again, forming an F pattern according to experts. Ganyan sila magbasa. Bukod doon, they're also hyper-reading. Tayo kasi page by page, di ba? Pag nagbabasa tayo. Kahit online eh. Next. Hinahanap natin yung next pagbitin. Kasi yung next button. Sila hindi. Our students now, once they encounter a word that's hyperlinked to another page, basta interested sila, they click on that word, and voila, a new page will open discussing about that term. So they would read through it. Pag may na-encounter silang word that they would like to learn about, they click on it, a new page will appear. We call that hyper-reading. direct their own learning. Kaya educators now are actually talking of personalization of learning. It's another field naman. Alright, multimedia processing. Ito naman yung reading behavior nila that they would look first at multimedia materials. Magmanood muna ng video, pakikinig muna ng audio, look at colored pictures. Ayuhuli nila yung text. Tayo, or katulad ko, text-based processing. Yung dati, we were trained in school, basahin niyo yung textbook niyo. So tayo, we were trained to learn from text. Diba? Bago tayo tumingin ng pictures. Okay, hindi na natin tinitingnan yung pictures kasi black ang print niya eh. Sa textbooks natin, so hindi naman clear. Pero ngayon hindi. Kung tayo ng text-based processing, ang mga estudyante natin ngayon that we're serving are multimedia processing learners. So it's creating crisis sa atin. Later on, we'll see. And then there's new information habit. They are fond of Googling. It's Dr. Google na ang tawag ko dyan sa library. Kasi pag pumasok sila sa library natin, most often, ang una nilang pinupuntahan ay hindi yung ating stocks. Pupuntahan nila agad, nasaan yung mga computers? Memorize na nila yan. Upo sila ron, consult Dr. Google ang tawag ko. Habang yung aming reference library doon, naghihintay siya. Wala, kay Dr. Google sila. Ilalagay na lang nila yung search terms. Ayun na. And then, they are also fond of just-in-time learning. Just-in-time is different from just-in-case. Tayo, noon, we were taught in a paradigm na just-in-case it will appear in the exam. Diba ganun tayo? Baka lumabas ko sa UPCA, baka lumabas ko sa ASEP, o sa ating finals, kaya pinag-aaralan natin. Sila just in time. If they find relevance sa kanilang concerns and issues, yung mga lessons, they would be looking into your lessons, into the teacher's lessons. Pero if they don't find it relevant, they don't anymore mind if they get a failing one. Ngayon, kami mga naka-encounter kang gano'n, they don't really care. Kahit mga anak ko, pag uwi sa bahay, palakol lahat. And they don't mind. Noon, takot na takot ako. Di ba? Kabado, kung magagaling pag-uwi. Sila ngayon, they don't mind kung mababa o bagsak. And may marami ng gano'n. Kasi nga, it's not really something they find meaning in. And so it's a challenge for teachers, it's a challenge for us na dapat relevant ang ating services to them. They're also fond of PLN. PLN, ito yung Personal Learning Network. It's a new information habit and it's not being picked up by teachers. Ginagamit na yung strategy na yan sa mga classrooms ng mga educators. Ano yan? Personal Learning Network. I think it's something that you are familiar with. Have you learned something? Tanungin ko muna kayo. Have you learned something, a skill for example, or a hobby, just by browsing and reading through the internet? Meron? Tumatanong si Ma'am. Can you share?
Actually, aside from, of course, we graduated as a librarian, I'm fond of creating programs. So, hindi tayo na nai-inject sa atin yung galun-galun basta-basta ang IT, di ba sir? So, minsan, makikisip-in ka sa mga college students na nag-aaral sa IT if you are really interested of learning how to create a program. Pero hindi rin naman yung pwede. So, ang internet, ang pinakamadaling access doon kasi just like what you discussed, sir, earlier about hindi na tayo mahilig magbasa. Ay, yung mga bata yung mahilig magbasa, nahawa din yata ako. Imbis na magbasa, kung paano gumawa ng programs, you just visit the YouTube. May direction doon, may audio na lahat nandoon na. So just follow the instruction as easy as that po.
Thank you. Your name ba?
Mariton, sir, from General Santos City.
Thank you, Ms. Mariton. So, yeah. Oh, ano daw pa dating pangalan ng Jensen? Sige nga, trivia tayo.
The Changas po, sir. Opo, opo. Nanggaling po yun sa parang talahib kasi dati yung Jensen. Kung makikita mo siya dati, yun yung pangalan niya, ma'am, no? Talahib yung dati, the Changas. And then that was changed to Jensen, which is actually a shortcut for General Santos po. Opo.
Na-interest yun, no? I got curious.
Kasi po malaki yung tawag ito, malaki yung parang contribution ni General Santos po sa pagkabuo ng Jensen. Tsaka malaki yung respect ng tao. Yes, sir. Opo.
You call that independent learning. Yung people ba, kaya alam niyo kami sa library we would from time to time post information or questions sa wall kasi it would arouse independent learning from students. Yung tipong they would get curious and read further. Diba? So, yun yung question ko kanina na bakit pinalitan. So, arousing individual curiosity. Yeah, meron na ba? Meron ba ka na? Challenge ito, Marigon. So, hindi.
Okay. Actually, sir, hindi ko alam. Ngayon ko lang nalaman. Sabi ni Ma'am Buayan daw. Actually, hindi talaga ako taga-General Santos City. Ano pa po ako? Part of South Cotabato, sa Banga. I'm not sure if you are really familiar with that place. Masyadong maliit po yan na municipality. And then there is actually 4 to 4.5 hours travel papuntang Jensen. And I'm already staying in Jensen for 2 years. At itong dalawang kasamahan, sila po talaga ang mga batikan sa General Santos City. Yan. So, they told me that the first name po ng Jensen talaga is Buayan. Pero meron Buayan doon, di ba, ma'am? Oo. Parang naging naman siya, isang Buayan. Ayan, ito si Sir Dante.
Ako, hindi ako taga-Jensen. Very traveled ako sa Philippines. First time ko, usually in the morning, lalakad ako in front of the City Hall. Merong parang statwa or statue si General Paulino Santos. General Paulino Santos, first landed sa Plan, Sarangbeach Park of Sarangani now. So nakita niya na dapat i-develop ang South Cotabato, which was part of Cotabato province before. Napakalaki ng Cotabato, di ba? Kaya Cotabato was, nagkaroon ng North Cotabato, pero nilitin ngayon ng Cotabato, South Cotabato, Sultan Kudarat. Sultan Kudarat, tao yan. Ha? At South Cotabato and Sarangani. Ngayon, ang Buayan, doon mo nabasa yan, sa historical marker in front of the City Hall. Kaya tayo as librarians, nagbabasa kayo sa nagbibiyahe. At pag nakita kayo, welcome to. Like, Iloilo is known as the city of love. How do you call Bacolod? Smile. How do you call Camagete City? City of gentle people. How do you call Cagayan de Oro? City of golden friendship, although merong hindi friend doon. Ganon. Meron kasi, it came from Raja Buayan. And the old airport of Jensen is in Raja Buayan. Yung mga ganon, share mo yun. You should know. Hindi na sinasabi na kultura ng isang lugar. Ganun ka knowledge of everything about the place. Kasi pag itatanong kaya, ang Pilipino, alam niyo, pag tinanong, taga saan ka? Sasabihin, hindi yung lugar niya. Kung saan yung Kapitolyo. Kasi hindi mo naman alam yung lugar ko. Paano malalaman? Pinukwento ko nga kay Brian kanina, may nakalimutan ka, si Mario. Nangalidin sa PRC. Ako, hindi ko alam, nakalimutan ko rin kung anong year ka kumuha ng board. Okay, 2008. Just for your information, Marlene Jude is the number one in 2008. But the credit was not given to the library school where I studied. I called the attention of DFL. Ang PRC, alam niyo kung minsan, mali ang ibibigay ng information. And as librarians, trabaho natin yun. Ay, correct ang mali. Consider, nakuha sa kanya, nakalimutan ko rin po ng school ko. So, na-credit, Roosevelt College. Doon na siya nag-aaral ng library science. Although for a time, nagturo din ng Roosevelt. He was an MLI student during that time. So, the credit should be UP. Maraming gano'n na maling informasyon ang binibigay sa atin. Yun ang trabaho ng librarians. As good information providers, you should share. Pag may nakita kayong mali, i-correct ninyo. Even in newspapers. Ano ba may nabasa ko? Collision. Bumangga sa poste. Collision ba yun? Collision is between two moving objects. Yung poste, kaya na-mention eh. Mali yun. Call your attention. Isa yun. Di ba? Halimbawa, mga estudyante rin sa library, nasa computer. Minsan, babasahin ninyo kung anong ginagawa nila. Pag may nakita kayong mali, turuan nyo. Kasi being a good information provider. Kaya lang, kung minsan nakakasakit ng loob, alam naman yun ako gumagawa ng directory. Marami dyan ay sumagot. It really hurts me. Nasabi ko nga, ako rin ako pinagtatamutan. How much more in our own libraries? Nagtatamot din tayo sa records. Sana isang paradigm shift yun. Yung all the traditional na hindi na dapat ganun, ibahin natin yung sa image. Ako, siya naman ko sa buhay ko. May taas ang tas ng pagiging librarian. Then most of the time, ano sinasabi sa ating mga opisina, sa ating mga institutions? Librarian ka lang. Right? Yun na nag-experience ko sa first job ko. We were more than 100. Librarian ka lang. I proved them wrong. Bakit lahat ng tanong mo nasasagot ko? Sino mas magaling sa atin? Because I'm a librarian. Yun ang training natin eh. To learn the fields of knowledge, to never read, to never see. Right? Librarian, hindi ako sabi na siya.
Oh, trivia. Ayan. So, pero ano po ako, number 6 lang. Hindi po. Ayan. Yeah, oh yeah. Okay. Yung ginawa natin na trivia, that probably is the experience of data mining. Our students are also fond of data mining. Kinukuha nila yung information na interesado sila. Kasi relevant or just in time sa kanila. And when they do that, ang experience parang gano'n, yung unpredictable, kung saan sila dalhin ng web, ng internet. So, the experience of data mining, we just had parang unpredictable movements and directions. They click and click pages and pages of information just so they could get more and more about building knowledge about issues that interest them. Kaya then, tama yung sinabi nilo kanina, personal learning network. Ako din, I learned, lumaki kasi ako, meron kaming aso. Poodle. Sa mami ko. So, nung nag-asawa ako, ayaw ng wife ko kasi may baby kami. Pero gusto ko talaga magkaroon ng aso. Pero I would like a dog na mapait. Sabi ko sa wife ko, convince ko rin siya. Gusto, hanap ka ng aso hindi nangangaga. I searched the internet na pusa daw. I was able to find out Labrador Retriever as one of a few dogs na natural sa kanyang unfriendliness. Hindi natural yung yung guard dogs. Anyway, I learned about the different breeds of dogs tuloy. So I bought one for myself sa family ko na may baby. Nakonvince ko rin wife ko. Tapos later on, I got in love with the breed and joined online discussion. I learned about how to breed properly a Labrador Retriever. Tapos later on, I got deep into breeding na. Nag-breed na ako, tapos nag-show na rin. Ayan, yung dog show, kasi ma'am, familiar na. Ng mga Labrador Retrievers. Everything I learned from the internet. Andun din yung mga, your fix, I think how to fix things up inside our homes. Paano magagawa? You can learn it from the internet. Simply watching a YouTube video from instructional video. Alright, people got personal learning network. Bakit network? Kasi mga estudyante natin, they don't just consult the internet and then alis na. They build network of learners with the same interest and network with experts in their subject of interest. Kaya teachers are actually tapping on that behavior, learning behavior ng mga estudyante and using it as a strategy in learning about their subjects. We can do that too inside our libraries. So talking of teaching strategies, marami sa mga teachers na I think all of them, I believe, are using group-based learning strategies inside the classroom. Hindi na uso yung recitation, individual recitation, isa-isa. Mas uso na ngayon, mas marami na ang mga teachers na gumagamit ng group-based learning strategies. So, we've heard of problem-based learning. These are all teaching jargons. Mga jargons din. Some of them are also familiar to us kasi they are also jargons for research. Problem-based learning, issue inquiry approach, cooperative learning, project-based learning, peer review and evaluation, lahat yan gumagamit ng group activities. Talking of, sa classroom yan ina-assign, pero nag-spill over yan sa library. Minsan, minsan I will call the attention of a group on a table. Sasabihin ko medyo maingay na kayo. Sir, we're discussing about a group project. So, it's creating a crisis. Yung mga group-based activities and assignments ng teachers sa estudyante, i-spill over yung crisis nila sa atin. Nag-iingay nila sa library. Anyway, bukod doon, our classrooms are becoming tech-enabled slowly. May mga schools na tayo, among us, na ang ating mga classrooms, all classrooms have projectors. Tapos, may computer, may laptop na distribute, may tablet PC. So may mga schools. Dati na tayo na dala-dala na mga tablet PC everywhere inside the school. Pero bawal ang smartphone sa loob ng library. Bawal ang phone. Diba? May mga gano'n. Gumagamit na rin ng smart board. Sa baba. Okay. Alright. Yung globe, 3D na. I saw a demonstration ng isang vendor sa school namin. Pag-project, 3D yung image. Pero mahal. Mahal lang. E-books. Schools are introducing and distributing e-books among the students. Ano pa? LMS or Learning Management System. Online submission ng assignments, online dissemination of school announcements and class announcements ng teacher, hindi school lang, pati teacher-student communication and interaction, ginagawa na nila through learning management system. And all of these are actually creating a crisis sa atin. Isa lang tayong librarian, pero sa atin naka-assign ang distribution ng mga technologies na to. Di ba? Yes, oo. Maraming areas na medyo hindi tayo handa o hiyang, pero pinapahawak sa atin. How are we creating more crises in the library? So, ito na siya. Ayun na, seemingly uncontrollable noise dahil sa mga group-based activities nila, ng mga kahit small groups na parang part na yun ang ating problema. Talking of, more learners are consulting Dr. Google. Inuuna nila si Google bago si Ask a Librarian natin. Diba? Sila muna, si Google muna. Kasi apparently effective sa kanila. Kasi nga, nandoon sila sa internet eh. Di ba sabi ko nga, tech intuitive sila eh. They know how to go about the internet. They know, probably more than us, which among the search result links are reliable. Diba? Alam na rin nila si .com, si .edu, si .org. And I think thanks to us yun, kasi tayo rin isa sa mga nagtutulog supposedly nun. Alright, so uncontrollable noise. Yung high school kasi ako, ang library namin was strictly observing noise, or silence I should say. Oo. So, lahat, pag recess ko and lunch ko, nung high school ako, gusto-gusto ko sa library kasi tahimik, nakakapag-memorize ako. Diba? Nung high school ako, that's the key to survive and get good grades and memorization. Pero apparently ngayon, hindi na target ng mga teachers ang memorization skill. O kaya lesser na lang ang concern nila ron. You heard of UBD? Understanding my design? You heard of ano ba ba ito? Constructivism? Diba? Connective learning? Ano ba yun? CS, ano siya? Yung DepEd, si UBD, sikat na sikat for example. Na ang pinapa-target na kasi sa teachers is understanding, understanding and application na minimemorize natin noon sa real life situations. So, hindi na rin pala the quiet atmosphere probably was effective in the past. So, later on, pakita natin yung mga points na sinasabi ko. And there's a decreasing statistics in our circulation. Diba? Reports. Pag nagpapagenerate ako ng report sa aking circulation librarian, nag-estudyante ni Sir Datin, si Eddie Veronia. So, hindi na kita niya sa akin, decreasing. Pero ang increasing namin ng circulation ay fiction. Yung fiction books, di ba? Sa girls, sikat siya. Sa school library. Yeah. You know what I did? Kaya nag-boost din siya at tumaas. We would bring students to Power Books, National Life, and Holy Book, and we let them select lang for further screening natin. Fiction. Novels that they would like to bring into the school at circulate. Pero for further evaluation pa namin. Pero that's how we were able to make fiction very, very popular among our students. Pero generally, sa subject-based collection namin, teachers would want to be the major decision makers with us, which is academically sensible. Crisis pa in the library. Library infractions are on the rise. Hindi ko alam, pero sa akin napansin ko yun, kasi bawal lang no eating or drinking, diba, inside the library. So, it's a crisis. Tapos, ang iba pa nating rule, no cellphone. Yung ibang estudyante namin are using smartphone. Bawal ang smartphone, pero pwede yung tablet, PC. May mga ganun sitwasyon, nag-create ng ganun sitwasyon sa amin. Diba? Na created a crisis. Sir, bakit sila nakakapag-surf using their tablet? Ang smartphone, hindi pwede. We're also surfing the internet. So, that's created a crisis. Next, digital device. So, I found out that digital device doesn't only exist in computer access between the rich and the poor. Wala na kaya kami. Pero it has been existent for a time in our school library. And I think marami sa atin. Ano yung digital device? Ang classroom technology, enable all these e-books use inside, pero sa ating libraries, we're circulating print, mga traditional books natin. Alright, so there's a digital divide in that sense. Hindi tayo bibigyan ng budget to purchase and circulate e-books. Alright, next. There's also a digital learning disconnect, resulting to a slow motion of learning. Ano to? In the library and at home, o kaya outside our library, ayan ang sitwasyon. Dahil bawal na smartphone, wala tayong internet access, o kaya control ang internet access ng mga bata sa loob ng library. Our students resort to traditional note-taking. Yung pen and paper, they do that inside the library. Ganun sa amin before. Pero outside our library, dala nilang tablet PC nila, punta lang sila sa corner dyan sa labas, o kaya sa Starbucks, anywhere, in few minutes. Diba? They would be able to get information and fast-tracking ang learning nila. Pero pag nasa loob ng library natin, slow motion. Our students are experiencing a slow motion of learning kasi bawal ang maraming bagay, bawal si internet. So, focus sila using pen and paper. So, it's what we call learning, the digital learning disconnect. Another crisis inside our library is support gap. Ano yung support gap? Library resources and services natin are not supporting may mga sitwasyon that our resources and services may not be supporting updated curriculum content and programs. Hindi naghahanap sila ng ganitong libro, wala pa tayo, hindi tayo nakakabili. O kaya kailangan nila ng technology-aided strategy, pero yung requirement nila ng technology, wala, hindi natin na-provide. So, at times we may be experiencing support gap. So, may crisis. Next. At times, pero may leadership vacuum. I can see this, ano ito? Leadership vacuum. Library staff are librarians, licensed librarians, pero yung leader nila, or director, ay hindi talaga librarian. Even in schools, may ganun tayong setup, diba? Isa daw sa mga dahilan ay the librarians and the teachers are having, at times, have encountered this communication gap. Hindi tayo magkaintindihan. Yung jargon nila, hindi natin intindihan. Yung jargon natin, keep on using them, hindi naman nila din tayo naiintindihan. Kaya what teachers, what our principals and admin are doing is to place and educate a teacher to lead us inside the library. Tapos siya na lang ang mag-aral ng jargons and expressions o ano ba yung services na natin sa library. At siya na mag-bridge with the rest of the community. So, there's a leadership created inside the library. How must we proceed there? Ang solution to, is it enough that we place in a licensed librarian to head the library? Is it enough that we buy, laptops, and distribute to, circulate to teachers? Is it enough that we just buy e-books and announce it to our students? At times kasi hindi nagtatagal, hindi natin nasusustain. Unless we change our way of thinking and dealing things inside our libraries, probably things won't get sustained. So, paradigm shift. Before, ito na yung kapalagay ko from my own reflections. The way I have now looked at our school libraries is, before I was taught, nag-aaral pa ako, kay Ma'am Merminia, Santos, the library is the center of the school. Center of the school. Literally nga, yung ibang schools nakalagay talaga sa sentro ng buong nakapalibot sa kanya. Hindi naman literal. And it has been, blurred of its essence. Kaya sa palagay ko, paradigm shift may not really be new way of looking at our school library. Probably it's going back to the essence of what our school library should, how our school library should function. Sa palagay ko that I should look at my school library as the whole school. The library is the whole school. And even beyond the school. Kasi, information now is not anymore a monopoly of books inside our libraries. And we don't have sole access and screening authority to our students, use of information. Kahit naman anong gawin natin sa loob ng library, ipagbawal ito, ipagbawal yan. Our students are able to get a hold of those books, di ba? So, maganda tingnan natin ang ating library as the whole school, permeating classrooms. Kaya by looking at it that way, I come to realize we should meet our users where they are. Nasa internet sila, naki-Google sila, doon din tayo. Let's make our presence known to them in the internet. One way of doing so, we provide 24/7 web assistance. Are there school librarians here from PLAI Central Luzon? A few weeks ago, I did training to them, kanila ma'am, nang I trained them on how to create a online gateway to authoritative information resources using free online tools. This is LC Web Assist, that's a screenshot of our own online gateway that we did, that we are offering to the students. Instead of, at pagbilusan nila ang computers namin sa library, yung Internet Explorer, ang homepage niya, LC Web Assist, to discourage them from consulting Google. It's actually made from WordPress.com as well. So, pupunta lang nila dyan, yung references, nandiyan na yung online references, nakalista na din yung free encyclopedia, free, thank you po, Sir Dante, free dictionaries, free thesaurus, nandiyan na. Pati government websites nandiyan na rin. Para they don't anymore hindi na sila, magbabasa ng mga spam. Minsan, have you covered yung spam about the triangle of life? Yung pag earthquake daw, doon ka sa gitna ng dalawang matataas na pillars, kasi it will save you. Oo. Alam nyo, halos maniwala ang Miriam doon. They called for a meeting of the emergency meeting ng council para pag-review yung procedures ng earthquake drill. We consulted a PBOX, and they told us directly, that's a hoax. Mali yan, yung triangle of life, natatayo ka sa gitna ng pintuan, o natatayo ka sa gitna ng dalawang matataas na pillars. The most safe way pa rin to do is to duck and cover. Duck and cover. Yun pa rin na. So, sabi ko, kung tayo ay minsan na uputo ng mga spam messages, how much more kung estudyante natin? So, online gateway to authoritative resources would be a good start to place our authoritative presence online sa mga students natin using the library. 24/7 presence. You can create your own using WordPress.com. So the library is the whole school. Paradigm shift. Before the library, we say the library supports the curriculum, diba? Outsider tayo sa curriculum. We are a support staff. Gano'n ang tingin sa ating tuloy ng mga teachers. May mga eskwelahan nga na hindi considered faculty ang school librarians. See? So, ako, sa palagay ko, we should, in order for us to really understand and address better the information needs of our teachers, kailangan we don't just mingle with them, but we should be considered at par with them in terms of relationship and interaction. Kasi everything else will follow. Parang tayong embedded librarian. Yung term embedded librarianship was coined by special librarians and academic librarians. Pero, come to think of it, tayong school librarians, pinapractice na natin yun noon pa. We've been mingling with our teachers ever since nag-work sa school. The library should be considered part of the curriculum. And the librarian should be considered a teacher, a faculty. Kahit na non-teaching, pero din pwedeng tawagin, kami kasi tinatawag kami non-teaching faculty. Sa faculty pa rin. Next, kasi, sila, classroom sila, tayo, may classroom din tayo. The library should be considered a classroom. Sa learning venue, hindi pwede pagkailaya ng principal natin. So this can be your argument for support. Library is our classroom. When we consider our library as our classroom, we maganda to couple it with strengthening collaborative work with teachers. We don't just ask them, ano ba ang mga information needs mo? Kailangan mo ito. Bro, you probably. But collaborate on a deeper level in terms of what? When students need the library, consider the library as as one of the tools, resources that teachers can use for teaching and learning. Similar to their need for projector, their need for laptop, the library can be a tool for learning and teaching. And for them to use your library, maganda hindi lang tayo magbibigay ng form, okay, reserve the library. But collaborate with the teacher in terms of designing a set of learning activities inside our library for the duration of 1 period. That's what we do in Miriam High School. Pag pumunta yung teacher sa amin to reserve the library, we don't give them the reservation form. We give them the collaboration form. Nandoon sa form, ano yung gagawin, hindi lang yung section, at date and time, nakalagay din doon, expected activity of the students, expected activity of the teacher. Para si teacher, hindi lang nakikita nagbabasa ng dyan habang mas estudyante nag-research. Di ba? Madalas ganun na sila pag nasa library. And expected activity of the librarian. At tapos information needs. Information, kailangan subject or topic or theme na kailangan ihanda na paghandaan ng teacher and student. So, collaboration form is a better way of creating a classroom atmosphere inside our library. And everything else we follow, the support, budget, I think so. Sa aking experience. Next, if there's a topic where we can place ourselves and inject our expertise inside the classroom, it's information literacy, di ba? Information literacy. I don't know kung ilan sa atin ang gumagawa nito. Sa Miriam High School, for a time, we were requested to teach fixed periods from grade 9 to grade 12. Nung tinignan, umuo naman ako. Kasi it's a worthwhile activity for school libraries to teach information sa mga estudyante. Kasi nung natanggap ko yung schedule, 6 kaming licensed librarians sa Miriam High School. May 3 periods doon na sabay-sabay yung 5 librarians magtuturo. So, maiiwan ang isa sa library. Tatlo yun. Tapos meron din doon, sessions na 4, pinakamarami yung 4 na sabay-sabay magtuturo. Pinakita ko yung schedule sa principal, gumawa, at binanggit ko yung consequences. Sabi ko, at times na isa lang yung library ko, hindi pwedeng bukas ang buong library. May isang area lang na pwedeng i-accommodate kasi mahihirapan siya. Hilot-talilong yan at the end of the period. Kung bukas ang buong library, pati AV, na siya lang ang nagbabantay. Siya lang ang nag-assist sa research or info needs ng mga estudyante. Ayaw pumayag ng principal. Sabi ko, hindi rin ako papayag na i-require kami to teach fixed time. So, from then on, nagkasundo kami na flexi time. When teachers come inside to do research inside the library. That's the time we inject info there. And besides, that's also teaching, that's also creating a situation sa estudyante ng just-in-time learning. Required sila to do a research on social issues. Sasabihin ng magtuturo yung research, yung reference librarian ko, kung nasaan makikita ang iba't ibang social issues sa DBC. So, by doing that, naturo na niya ang DBC. So, just-in-time learning, you don't have to teach everything about library skills sa mga estudyante natin. Mas makikinig sila pag ang approach natin to teach them of our library skills is in line with their just-in-time philosophy. Alright. Another paradigm shift. Before, the library is for quiet study. I don't know if you will agree with me. Pero now I'd say the library caters to various learning styles. Have you heard of learning styles? Multiple intelligence. Some students, effective sa kanila yung tahimik. Pero sa ibang estudyante, hindi effective ang tahimik. Iba-iba ang learning styles ng bata. Kaya I think you're also aware, inside the classrooms, ang teachers hindi lang puro lecture. Ang teachers nagpapagawa ng group study, ng group activity, kasi may mga learning styles ng bata that they learn best when they are in social interaction. So, iba-iba rin ang strategies ng teachers sa classroom. Meron at times quiet, at times maingay, at times pinagbabasa, at times pinag-drawing. Nakikita natin yun. At times tumatakbo, nagkakanta, nagsasayawan. But these are all learning activities. So sabi ko, why can't we have the same? Why can't we accommodate the same in our school libraries? So we started placing a discussion area. Dahil hindi naman kalakihan ang library namin, ang dami-daming rooms, I could separate. I placed in a discussion area sa gitna ng library. Integral siya. Kasi information ngayon is collaborated. Not anymore for individual consumption in a quiet environment. That has been our motto na. Inside our school library. Earlier, di ba, I said, information is elasticizing, part of which is information now is also being collaborated and cooperated in terms of its development by, not just by one or two, but plenty of people around the world. So, these are changes in paradigm ng ating pagtingin. Library for all learning styles. Meron kang area for quiet study. And mind you sa amin, yung area for quiet study is the least popular area. Minority na lang pala ang mga estudyante namin ngayon na ang gusto ay quiet study. Napupuno naman siya. Dahil wala kaming ganun karaming space, yung reference section ko, where the encyclopedias, dictionaries, etc. are placed, right? Nandoon ko nilagay yung, inassign yung quiet study. So everybody who's entering the reference section, closed door na siya ngayon, quiet study na siya. Right, so doon sila. And I found that minority lang siya. Hindi siya napupuno eh. The rest of the areas ko, ng reading area, naging discussion area siya. Wala na kami magagawa kasi that's part of our new philosophy that information should not be limited to quiet consumption alone, but should be allowed for collaboration and cooperation, discussion ng mga estudyante. Nagpapasahan din sila. Whatever the information is, minsan yung mga teachers sasabihin, paano mo nag-chismisan lang yun dyan, sir? Sabi ko, kahit naman sa aming libraries, but every information that is still independent learning. May not be related to your academic subject, but they're learning. Diba? If teachers are allowed to rest at times, ang estudyante rin, diba? Should be also allowed to rest. Ang dami na rin nila, remember that half-life of knowledge, ang dami-dami ng information that they are expected to master. Maganda rin bigyan sila ng time to breathe. Alright. In my school, discussion space is made integral. dahil kulang kami ng space to have a separate room. Pero the idea, I think, is a separate room for discussion. Para majority pa rin, supposedly ay quiet. Pero dahil hindi namin kaya, isang area namin, big area namin, ay discussion area. At doon talaga, ang mga estudyante ay nag-discuss. O, pag sabay-sabayan ng lunch, para na siyang palengke. Pero we roam around. Kasi ang class time namin, sabi ko sa mga librarians ko, contact time natin with the students is during their break time. That's when they are entering the library, that's when they are learning with us. So we go around during break time. Kaya minsan nagugulat ang principal, bakit pala sa ganito? Break time niya. Kasi iba ang break time ng teaching faculty. Sabi ko, break time niya, we cannot have our breaks during our contact time with students. So, recess lunch, wala sa aming librarians ang nag-break. Lahat kami contact time namin with the kids. Yung dismissal, siyempre, iwalay na rin yung mga teachers ng off time nila. Alright. So, it's the library for all learning styles. Another paradigm shift. Before, we're taught the librarian is a custodian of books and reading program specialist. Si Paas ko, accreditor, pag pumunta yan, tinanong kami nila, what's your reading program? So, expected nila that we are experts and we are leading in the reading program. Okay. Hindi ko naman binibitawan yung responsibility. But I think my school is not alone in the design that the reading program is assigned to the English department. Diba? Hindi sa atin na teachers. Na librarians. Kasi nga exactly, the new paradigm shift, I think sa amin, I would like to share with you is this. The librarian is a specialist, yeah, but not just on reading. On information specialists, we are considered technology specialists, we're also research specialists, and internet specialists. These were actually before considered peripheral skills. Swerte pag ang librarian may skill in internet use, or technology setup, or research skill. Swerte. Pero ngayon hindi. They are now considered core qualities and skills even among school librarians. We're expected. And that's the only way for us to remain relevant to the teachers, to our fellow faculty, and to our students. Alright, so consider librarian as a specialist in those terms. Information services natin. Tayo rin ang pinag-ahawak instructional tech, info skills development, and internet guidance. And we need to continuously develop professional education para we could continue to deliver relevant services sa kanila. Next, the library is considered it caters to students' needs. Naka-focus tayo sa mga estudyante natin. Pero I think we cannot remain or be limited only to what our students, to consider the students as only our users. Much of our collection are geared toward helping info needs of students. Pero in the same way, I think, we should also deliver information needs ng mga teachers. Half of knowledge demands that our teachers be kept updated as well, diba? With their professional education needs. Sila din ay relevant, essential users natin in as much as our students are. Essential users natin. Tayo rin, we are also graded, I think, sa amin kasi we are part of our end of the year rating ay professional development. Ang mga teachers natin, fellow teachers natin, they're also part of their rating, year-end evaluation, is professional development. So let's keep each other updated sa ating fields of work. So we also have primarily a budget for professional education information sources. Kasi the library now, bakit kasama na siya? Hindi na kung noon, tinitingnan lang yung skills mo inside the library, marunong ka magtatanong, marunong ka mag-serve sa reference service, marunong ka sa circulation, tapos na. Pero ngayon, hindi. The library is for lifelong learning na. We must also get familiar with professional education jargons, yung mga jargons na teachers, examples of which ay kanina, PBL, or problem-based learning, issue, inquiry approach, mga jargons nila yan. Let's get familiar with that. Kasi by getting familiar with it, we get to understand yung mundo ng teaching, we get to address their needs and design relevant services for them. In that way, we are delivering through services of a special library. Kasi professionals yung ating isang chunk ng ating mga siniserve sa loob ng school library. Like information gathering for them, information delivery, sa mga admin lalo na, nagre-request yan sila minsan, diba? Reviewin mo. Pakibigay na sa akin ang news clipping on this article, gano'n. Sometimes they ask us to do that. That's a special library service. SBI too, sa ating mga faculty, researching for their master's degree. Next, paradigm shift. We were taught, ako si Ma'am Paderon to, saka si Ma'am Beth noon sa ako. Paradigm is, library is format focused. Pero I say, from my own experience and observation, school librarians should be service-focused. We don't give up on the format focus, but we must also give the same weight or importance to the key services. What do I mean by that? Because the library is relevant only insofar as our users, students and teachers and admin, are finding use for it. So the challenge for us now is to continue to make our libraries relevant to their needs. Kaya importante sa palagay ko yung service focus. Madalas, sinasabi naman yan sa mga seminars, pero how is it translated? You know how I translated it sa aming library? It's this way. Before, librarians are assigned by format, di ba? Print librarian, non-print librarian, digital librarian, etc. By format. That's library, that's format focus. Sa amin, ang akin move is to assign librarian in key services, not in key formats. Ang focus dapat ng school librarian is on the key service, hindi doon sa information that's being contained. Sample. Reference librarian. Noong umpisa, naglagay kami ng label doon sa counter na reference librarian. Ang mga estudyante nagtatanong ng kanilang query nag-a-address mo sa circulation librarian, sa acquisitions librarian. Although they can answer, pero parang it's reflecting na medyo hindi pa nila alam. At madalas, sinasabi nila, sir, ano yung reference librarian? Diba? Alam nila yung reference books. Akala nila, nag-uwi lang si reference librarian. Anyway, so, ginawa ko, pinalitan namin. At this point, ano nakalagay doon, research assistance. Or you can call her research librarian. It's service-focused. And the students, when they enter the library, hindi naman libro agad ang iniisip niya. Ang unang iniisip ng estudyante at ng teacher, how can this library be of service to me? Diba? Hanapin niya yung service that you would provide prior to the information that you could deliver there. Periodicals librarian, you could call current awareness librarian. Kasi yun naman din ang isa sa mga importanteng binibigay niya. Diba? Acquisitions librarian, collection development librarian. Kasi yun naman ang service niya. Diba? Circulation librarian, sabi ng circulation librarian ko, sir, ano lang po eh, assist naman po eh. Sabi niya, no, kasi licensed librarian siya. I got the impression na hindi niya gusto mag-stay doon circulating books. Sabi ko, no. marami kang analysis na gagawin dyan sa reports. At pwede ka rin maging in charge sa reader's advisory. You could promote books for circulation na hindi pinapansin ng mga bata. At I just thought that we could call this reader's advisor. Kung mga estudyante, meron silang tinatawag sa classroom na homeroom advisor. Di ba? Inside our library, we could put a fellow librarian, the reader's advisor. Anyway, audiovisual librarian, AV services librarian. Focus on services. Kasi napansin ko, when I oriented them to the service focus, I found out that my librarians became more client-friendly. Kaysa noong sila nakafocus sa cataloging, sa newsclick, sa indexing, vertical file, so naging more client-friendly din sila. And dahil doon, they're ready to serve much better. Alright, still part of the library being service focused is the question of paano ba natin determine ang number of librarian sa ating schools. Ilan ba? Ano ba yung sinasabi sa atin? It's 500, di ba, per one librarian. They're considering kasi the student population. Ito kasi yung student population eh. Oo. Pero, kung titignan mo, hindi naman lahat ng student population mo pupunta sa library. Iba yung student population ng school, iba yung library using population. Although the ideal really is to make all the students use the library, pero our library spaces cannot accommodate all at the same time. Diba? Meron din lang tayo tinatawag na iba-ibang number of library using population. Pero we can concede, sa palagay ko, pag 500 students with one librarian, parang kulang. Kasi, being service focused, bibilangin mo, ano ba yung mga services na kailangan mo i-deliver sa kids? Diba? At times yung principles natin, hindi nila tanto yun. Ano yung dapat mo i-deliver? Basta alam nila, binabantayan mo yung libro. Diba? They're missing, our principals are missing out on the key importance ng library natin to help the learners really develop and build up knowledge. Dahil rin, sa palagay ko, our policy should be that we determine the number of school librarians in our schools, not just by the number of student population, but by the using population, coupled with the kind of services we give, the range and frequency of information services that we give. Diba? Marami yun. Yung binanggit ko kanina, sa periodicals, may service doon, sa circulation desk, may counter, may service doon, sa reference, may service doon. Marami, so, everything else will do if you have enough number of librarians and not be limited by the policy na 500 students for one librarian. Kulang siya. Okay. Next. Alright. The library is a maker space. Last two slides na nga. The library is a maker space now. Ano siya? What we do this time sa aming library is we allow students to do their projects inside the library. They can test, they can do information experiments, collaborative work, research sa loob ng library. Para, works like a sandbox. Yung sa, di ba, you encountered the word sandbox. If you like to test, run a particular app, pwede itakbo muna sa sandbox. So, what we did, we came up with the idea that our discussion area can be made into an area for students to do group projects in, or discuss on a particular topic, action research. So para siyang sandbox, testing ideas, and doing sample experiments, and the like. Ayan, nabanggit ko na. And also, to be relevant sa ating team, pero actually more than just that, I think the library now is also being called to become a cultural center. We can create our own school museum where we can showcase from time to time iba-ibang theme tulad ng nasa totoong museum or totoong exhibition center, a cultural center, photos, videos, memorabilia of school events, sports, clubs, and other notable activities in the school. We can connect with local cultural centers or institutions, archives, or possible exhibitions inside our school. We can, still part of being a cultural center, we can develop an art gallery where student created artworks may be displayed, and you can invite local artists. Actually, interesting yun. Sa alumni, what we did for a time, meron kaming art exhibition, we invited high school alumni to come over. Mga professional photographers na sila, nag-exhibit sila ng photos nila. That they would do outside sa mga totoong art galleries, pero you can expose your students to that special interest by conducting an exhibit of the same sort. Thus becoming a cultural center. Right. And you could model it with what people could see inside galleries na meron talaga description ng medium, canvas or painting on canvas, etc. Things of that sort. The content and the description and structure. You can also construct special interest zones. What we did sa aming area, pop culture. Diba? Part pa rin yun ng ating pop culture ng mga estudyante natin. Still part of being a cultural center. You could assign an area where you can come up with an exhibit of anime, manga, graphic novels, superheroes, sa mga younger ones, mga princesses of fairy tales, exhibit. Still part of being a cultural center. Yan kami ng culture sa mga students natin. Invite teachers and students in particular to bring their own collection for exhibit, for presentation in this zone. We have this zone, at tawag namin ng Teen Interest Zone. It's an area where from month to month, may iba-ibang theme siya sa mga young girls, sa mga teenagers. Alright, so so what does it take to become, a librarian in the 21st century, to overhaul our school libraries and become better fit in the 21st century school educational setting? The following. It takes us to, we must go for our vision. Whatever it is that you realize here, go for it. Uncover your potentials. At times you will discover yourself, artist pala ako. Actually, tayo mga school librarians, di ba? Dapat marami tayong madiling display, colorful. And we must take a proactive stance. Huwag na tayo maghintay. Sasabihin ng teacher, pwede ka ba sumali sa amin, collaborate with us, kasi we're having a history week or a science week. Bago pa dumating yung week na yun, maganda puntahan natin sila and collaborate proactively with them. Share our ideas. Para scholastic, scholastic, di ba? Bago pa man yung book fair, pumunta na sa atin at nagsasuggest na kung ano pwede natin gawin. So we can do the same, we can be of the same stance, proactive stance, to our teachers and sell our library services. And we must begin small. Baby step lang. One baby step at a time. Start small and finish. So it takes actually, sa palagay ko, in my own experience, it takes guts to overhaul our libraries and make it, relevant in the 21st century learning and teaching environment. I think I end here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Jude. At this point, we learned so much from the talk, the presentation of Sir Jude. No? So we've seen the changes that are happening in the libraries, the changes in formats, the behaviors, and even the pedagogical changes at Iloilo. Alright, so at this point, do you have any questions regarding the presentation? Yes, ma'am. I think we moderate here the PLAI. Kami po yun. Oh, kasama po siya sa CD kit. So any concern, any questions? Tanong lang po kayo. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Mrs. from St. Lucie School, Grammar School. First, I would like to thank Sir Gorospe for our intelligent yet very humble speaker for today, for giving us for sharing his opinion about the third kind of partnership in the library. I just want to share, sir, that we librarians are dealing with the Generation Y, not the Generation X students. So basically, we are the aliens of their world. Tayo po yung stranger, mundo po nila yun. Because as if they're born with tablets in their hands. As if pinanganak sila, kung noon tayo pinanganak, nasabi nila pag sugalod, parang